Very informative things are being informed here in these verses. So it was discussed earlier, from the sky sound is produced. Then along with sky and sound, the senses for hearing, the ears, they also originate. From the sky, air is produced, and the most important characteristic of air is touch. So as soon as there is air, there is touch sensation also. And along with that, the senses for feeling the touch sensation, the skin, that is also produced. So Prabhupada is saying in the purport, sound is one of the qualifications of the sky and the subject matter for hearing. Similarly, touch is the qualification of the air and the subject of the touch sensation. So Prabhupada explains about this very important aspect of sky, which is called sound. In the Vedic literatures, it is said that through material sound there is material creation, and through spiritual sound there is spiritual creation. So just like the creation here begins from sky. From sky, air is produced. From air, fire is produced. From fire, water is produced. From water, earth is produced. Similarly, the spiritual creation is also spiritual sky. Begins from spiritual sky. Where material sky ends, there it is beginning of spiritual sky. That's how we find in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, he informs us about spiritual sky, Paravyoma it is called. Parastasmatu bhavo anyo vyakta avyakta sanatanaha. That spiritual sky, that spiritual world, spiritual nature, bhava anyaha, it is different from material sky or material nature. And some portion of material sky is manifest, some portion of material sky is not manifest to us. We are able to see only up to certain point. Beyond that, we are not able to perceive this material sky also. So there is something called Vyakta, there is something called Avyakta. And beyond that, and that is eternal, Sanatana. This material creation, this material sky, it may last for a very long time, but it is not permanent, it is not Sanatana. It is created and it is annihilated. It exists for some time and after that it does not exist. Again it is created. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. That is how material sky is described. This material creation, this material sky, it is 1/4 of creation of the Supreme Lord. This is called Ekapada Vibhuti. The spiritual world is called Tripad Vibhuti. It is the 3/4 creation of the Supreme Lord. So that means 25% creation is this material world, 75% creation is the spiritual world. And just like material life begins from material sound, whole material manifestation comes from material sound. Similarly, one can be liberated from this material world by spiritual sound. So that is a very important characteristic of sky. Prabhupada gives an example. One may be a very long distance away, but still, if one has some kind of instrument like radio, one can capture that sound which is vibrated miles and miles away. So if material sound is having this potency that it can be vibrated miles away and we can capture it at a long distance simply by having some instrument, we can just imagine the potency of the spiritual sound. Material sound is so potent. So, just like material sound is produced in the material world, spiritual sound is produced in the spiritual world. That is how Narottam Das Thakur says, Golokera prema dhana hari nama sankirtana. This holy name of the Lord, this spiritual sound, is not from this material world. It is not a sound of this material world. It has emanated from the spiritual world. But it can be received in the material world, even though it is miles and miles away, if one has proper instruments. Just like material sound can be received from a long distance, miles away, if you have a proper instrument. So, distinction between understanding. If somebody asks us a question, you are vibrating this Hare Krishna mantra from the same tongue and you are calling it spiritual sound. And from the same tongue you are vibrating so many other material sound and you call that as material sound. So it is just your imagination. How do we understand this is material sound and this is spiritual sound? So Prabhupada says, yes, through the effect you can understand. Phalena parichyate. Just like material sound, if one chants even for few times, one becomes disgusted with it. Spiritual sound we can see practically from 5 o'clock in the morning at least till 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, we are chanting spiritual sound. Material sound, if one vibrates, one is disgusted. Spiritual sound, if one vibrates, he becomes more and more gladdened, more and more bliss. So there is a lot of difference we can understand between material sound and spiritual sound. Material sound, the more we vibrate, the more our material existence is increasing. And the more we vibrate spiritual sound, our spiritual existence will increase. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Gaya and later on he met spiritual master Ishwarapuri. So Ishwarapuri asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to constantly chant the holy name of the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started chanting the holy name. Simply by chanting the holy name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not stop chanting. He would regularly chant. And along with chanting, he was in ecstatic symptoms. Sometimes he would laugh, sometimes he would cry, sometimes his body will sweat, he'll fall unconscious on the ground. So he thought, what has happened? From the time I have started chanting, what is all these symptoms? Is my mind being covered? Is my knowledge being covered by chanting the holy name? Just see. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to clarify, because there are a lot of such impersonalists like Prakashananda Saraswati was there. He was thinking that this is just a sentimental cry. What are you doing? Chanting, dancing on the street like a madman. They're all sentimental things. You are supposed to learn Vedanta. So we find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a Vedantist, much greater than Prakashananda Saraswati. He could defeat so-called scholars of Vedanta. So he was thinking himself whether my knowledge is being covered, whether holy name is actually covering my real knowledge. Because that is what Prakashananda Saraswati was saying. These are all sentimental things. Better give up all these things. You should simply read Vedanta. So, Ishwarapuri replied, very interesting verse. Krishna Nama Maha Mantrera Eite Swabhava Ye Jape Tara Krishne Upajaye Bhava. So he said, yes, this is exactly the symptom of one who is chanting the holy name of the Lord without offenses. This is the nature. It is the nature of Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. So this is very important. So, this is not some material sound. By hearing some material sound, one cannot develop his ecstatic love for Krishna. Then, further, Ishwara Puri said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna mantra haite habe samsara mochana, Krishna naam haite paave Krishnera charana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking, by chanting my knowledge is covered, and Ishwara Puri is informing, it is completely the opposite. If one is chanting the holy name of Krishna, Habe samsara mochana, one will be liberated immediately from this material illusion, not covered by material illusion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking that my knowledge is covered by this, some kind of effect produced by holy name. It is covering my real knowledge. Isn't it? And then Ishwara Puri says, not only that, by chanting, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Krishna nama haite pave Krishnera charana. So this is, we can understand the effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. It is so important. So, devotees should take it very seriously. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally demonstrated how important it is to chant the holy name of the Lord. And if one chants avoiding the 10 kind of offenses, one will certainly feel ecstatic. But if you are sleeping, while chanting, while hearing the spiritual sound, then definitely we will not be able to feel this ecstasy. So, once there was a discussion, Akshobhya should better stand and hear. Once there was a discussion between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sanatana Goswami that out of the 9 processes of devotional service, this chanting the holy name always is the most important element. Even though there is Pada Sevanam, there is Archanam, there is Vandanam, there is Dasyam, Atmanivedanam, but out of them, relatively, it is so important. So imagine how much important it is. Sometimes we don't care for our chanting. We don't care to complete our rounds. We don't care to hear attentively. But we should know this is the most important element of our devotional service. Out of whatever we are doing, we are worshipping the deities. The most important is to chant and hear. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Tara madhye sarva shreshtha nama sankirtana nir apradhe nama laile paya prema dhana. But very important is nir apradhe. if one chants without offenses. Of the 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of Godhead. So you can imagine, this is the kind of potency of chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is another very important one verse in Rupa Goswami writes in Padyavali. It is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna adi ara yata sthavara jangame, Krishna prema matte kare, Krishna sankirtane. The holy name of Krishna is so attractive that anyone who chants, including all living entities, moving and non-moving, and even Lord Krishna himself, becomes imbued with love of Krishna. We see this. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, when he himself is chanting his holy name, and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithvi chate nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hobe mora naam. My name, because it is his holy name. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the Lord himself is also chanting, it is so attractive that they become imbued with love of Krishna. This is the effect of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is another important verse where Rupa Goswami explains from the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he is speaking to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. How effective this chanting of the holy name is. Sankirtana haite papa samsara nashana, Chitta Shuddhi Sarva Bhakti Sadhana Udgama, Krishna Premodagama Prema Amrita Aswadana, Krishna Prapti Sevamrita Samudre Majjana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, by performing congregational chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence. So, actually simply by congregational chanting of the holy name, by Sankirtana, imagine if when we perform during our Rath Yatra or when we take out procession of chanting the holy name, how powerful it is. This congregational chanting, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence. It is so purifying. So Prabhupada, he says, actually this is the effect. But imagine, the materialistic people, they cannot understand the importance of this. When they were performing Sankirtana in Bombay, some of the people came complaining, you are creating nuisance. See, this is how people are so unfortunate, isn't it? We find even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting, there were so-called smarthas. They were thinking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spoiling the Hindu Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. They were thinking, they went, complained to Chandkaji, that what is this? There is nothing like this Sankirtana chanting in the streets, going out, disturbing people. You see. So we understand about that incident. So people are so unfortunate, they cannot understand. But somehow or other we have to force people to hear, even if they do not want. Somehow or other It is said even if sthavara, even if non-moving living entities hear the holy name of the Lord and even if they chant, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the echoing of the holy name is their chanting. So even if they hear and chant, even they become advanced in spiritual life. So it can destroy the sinful condition of material existence. Haite papa samsara nashana. Then chitta shuddhi, purify the unclean heart. Sarva bhakti sadhana udgama. See what are the effects of chanting the holy name. Awakens all varieties of devotional service. Dasya rasa, Sakhya rasa, Archanam, Vandanam, everything, all varieties of devotional service. This is the principle behind this, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Then, Krishna Premodgama, Prema Amrita Aswadana. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Prema Amrita Aswadana. Then Krishna Prapti Seva Amrita Samudre Majjana. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and Seva Amrita Samudre Majjana, engages in devotional service as if immersing himself in great ocean of love. This is the transcendental effect of chanting the holy name. One more last verse. This is also from Padyavali by Rupa Goswami, quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The holy name of Lord Krishna is an attractive feature for many saintly liberated people. Very attractive for people who are liberated from this material existence. Actually, holy name can be really relished only when one is in liberated condition of life. Then it can be relished, really. But for us, it is the annihilator of all sinful reactions. But even for those who are not yet liberated, who are still sinful, it is the annihilator for all sinful reactions. And is so powerful that save for the dumb who cannot chant it, it is available for everyone, including the lowest type of man, the Chandalas. So except for somebody who is dumb, who cannot chant, it is readily available for anyone, even for the lowest of the mankind, Chandalas. This holy name is available. The holy name of Krishna is the controller of opulence of liberation. That means liberation is just a byproduct. Just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, automatically, without separate endeavor, one will be liberated. And it is identical with Krishna. Simply by touching the holy name with one's tongue, immediate effects are produced. So Krishna has given us this facility. Even with material tongue we can touch it. When we touch with our material tongue in the beginning, it will be like medicine. We are not able to taste because our tongue is covered with avidya. It is not purified. We cannot properly touch the holy name without being completely purified. But Krishna has given us the facility that the holy name we can touch even with our impure tongue. and there it will act like a medicine. It will destroy that avidya. Simply by touching the holy name with one's tongue, immediate effects are produced. Chanting the holy name does not even depend on initiation, pious activity, purascharya, regulative principle, generally observed before initiation. Does not even wait for initiation. The holy name does not wait for all these activities, it is self-sufficient. That is the potency of the holy name of the Lord. Of course, the holy name has to be received in parampara. Officially, one is initiated or does not get initiated, it is different. Because that is also very clearly stated by Sanatana Goswami. If one hears the holy name, a Vaishnava Mukhum, then it will not be effective. So one has to hear it in parampara, then it will be very effective. So we can imagine how important is this sound vibration, the holy name of the Lord. So with utmost attention, one should try to chant the holy name. We can see this practically even in the life of Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami, simply by vibrating transcendental sound, simply by hearing transcendental sound, even within 7 days of span, Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami attained perfection of their life, devotional perfection of their life. So important is this sound. So that is being described in this verse. We'll stop with this Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.